What's going on, everybody? It's Jesus with FFB. I'm here with
Jonathan with Escobar Kennels, and today we have my boy Terrence with 101 Exotics. Terrence, how you doing today, fam?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing, man?
doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here as always, man. This is like my new home away from home, I call it.
Yeah, it's super dope. Thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, no, we appreciate you coming on, man. So as we were talking to you about, behind the breeder and the idea of what it is, man, behind the breeder, we really want to get to know Terrence from 101 Exotics, bro. Like, let's start with the first question. What got you into breeding?
So, what got me first into breeding, I bought my first Frenchie female. She wasn't like purchased just to be a breeding dog. I purchased her just because I was like, okay, got some money. I really like Frenchies now. I want to buy I had pit bulls. I have two pit bulls. That lived with them their whole life, Mm-hmm. Got my first Frenchie and I fell in love. Absolutely. She was the baddest dog I've ever had. Like, I don't know, when I say bad, I mean she was bad. Like, she got into everything, ripped stuff up. But I loved her.
One of those, that type of bad. I'm over thinking like she was a gorilla, like bad as fuck.
Nah, man, nah. She would get into everything. She would just, but I loved her. Named her Princess, so you know how that goes. But after I had her for maybe like 6 months, I would say, one of the people that I bought my first boy from, Grin 2 Bullies, he hit me up. He was like, hey, bro, you ever gonna breed your Frenchie? I see you have her. Like, you don't really have a kennel page, anything like that. So at that point, I was like, maybe I should look into this. Started researching, started seeing what it takes to like breed dogs. Because to be honest, I used to be really against breeding. Just for the simple fact that the only breeding that I ever seen was backyard breeding pit bulls, things like that. Because, and those dogs, you know how that goes. They end up in shelters, on the streets, things like that. So I was like, all right, I never really liked breeding. But once I found luxury breeds like Frenchies, English Bulldogs, things like that, I was like, okay, these are the type of dogs that you can breed. People that are going to spend $1,000 plus on a dog aren't going to go send that dog to a humane society or...
Yeah, it's a lot more rare for sure.
So that's what got me into it.
And when was this? Like, around what time?
I bought her. She's coming up on 5 years old now.
Okay, so you've been breeding for about 5 years now?
2021, I think, is when I bought her. Or maybe I don't know exactly. It was like 2022, 2021. 2022 is actually when I dropped my first litter. 2021, I bought her. Accelerate to now, I've had like, I don't know how many litters.
If you had to take a guess, how many litters do you think?
20 plus, I would say. Not too crazy, you know what I mean? But like, whelped them all myself. Gained a lot of knowledge along the way. My first litter was actually an accidental litter, believe it or not. My boy that I had, Mad Max, the first boy that I ever purchased, like I said, off of Grin 2 Bullies, that dog got stuck with one of my first females I purchased.
What was the name of the kennel again?
Grin 2 Bullies.
Grin 2 Bullies?
Yeah. He's here local in Tucson.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Grin 2 Bullies. That's my boy. He's actually about to drop 2 litters today off of my boy Man. He's on his way to go get the C-sections and everything.
Nice. So
can't wait to see those puppies.
So who kind of got you into the game ended up turning around and using one of your studs.
Exactly. And
nice.
I'm happy he seen I came a long way, you know what I mean, and wanted to use one of my dogs to help improve or go in the direction that he wants to go, see his vision like develop over time. Cause my first boy, I'm not gonna lie, like I bought him, he had my first litter and everything, but he at the end of the day he wasn't my vision, so I had to rehome him, you know what I mean? I gave him to a good family, free. I'm not gonna say like I had to like make my money back or anything like that. Sometimes when you buy dogs and you realize later on that they're not the dog that you are breeding to have, like produce. I'm in it to produce dope dogs. Mm-hmm. And like my first plan litter was with that first female I had, Princess. I bought a stud credit for Gary Coleman Sr. Shout out Turn Up Frenchies. He basically steered me in the right direction to say like, okay, I want gorilla structured dogs. Bought Gary Coleman Jr. after I had my first litter, and from there it's been up. You know what I mean? Gary Coleman Jr. was my first stud that I actually had some motion with. Had his first litter at 7.5 months. He got his first breeding. You know, like So it was like totally different. It was like a other side of the coin. Like my first, I would say, I bought 3 boys in the beginning.
That's what I was about to ask. So, when it came to your first Frenchies, do you kind of regret getting them, or was it more of like you got into it not really necessarily for breeding and you kind of worked with what you had, and then this is what a lot of people want to know: how much did you spend on your first Frenchies?
Facts.
So
No, a lot of people are dying to know that one.
you know how the prices were going in the heart of the pandemic. I'm not gonna like say like exactly how much I spent on those 3 boys, but it's 20 plus. You know what I mean? And those 3 boys, I'm not gonna say I regret buying them. It's a learning. It's more of a learning experience. You buy them and you see what you're going for, and like, okay, I realized, okay, these dogs weren't really giving me any emotion. They weren't really getting me anybody that's saying like, oh, I want to use that boy. He's badass. You know what I mean? Until I bought Gary Coleman Jr. So when I bought Gary Coleman Jr., I realized, okay, I need to put 100% focus on this dog. And the other studs, I just gave them away. Literally to friends, family members. It's not about the money at that point because I didn't spend all my money on those first dogs. Like,
How much did you spend on your very first Frenchie though, the female princess?
so her, I bought her from this guy. I don't really mess with him no more. Like, I'm not trying to talk down on him, but like, I don't really mess with him no more because he did some bad business with me, and I can't like keep continuing to be cool with somebody that just, I like to see is they want money, 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 and they don't want to help me get nowhere. So I bought her 5,500, right?
Okay.
Didn't know about AKC paperwork, nothing like that. All I knew is when I bought her, it said, oh, full rights, blah, blah, blah. Like, so after like maybe after my homie Grin Two Bullies told me, oh, you should breed her, I hit him up and I was like, hey, what's up with the AKC papers? Because I just bought a boy and he gave me papers right away. And dude literally like was like, oh, the lady that I middleman the dog to you from, she wants a pup back to get papers. So I was like, all right, cool, let's do a pup back. Didn't agree on what dog he was wanting to do a pup back with, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna breed her to Gary Coleman Sr. And all of a sudden, it was like, oh, she wants $3,000.
What?
So technically, I paid $8,500 for my first female. Worth every penny. Love the shit out of her. She's the best dog. I mean, other than my first pit bulls that I have, like, they're my OGs. But nobody can ever really like replace that first Frenchie girl that you had that you just like.
And you still have her, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she's
you still have
retired.
her.
She's actually a great grandma now. So she's had 2 litters. I have one of her daughters. I did 1 litter with her. She produced me a boy that actually had, like, I sold him to this dude in Phoenix, and he's been running it up with him. He's a lilac and tan, fluffy carrier, rojo carrier, cream carrier, all that. And it's just, I kind of like steered away from the DNA, so I didn't want to keep him. Even though he was a nice dog, I just was like, all right, I'm focusing on small, micros, short back, you know. I don't really care about no pied, no brindle. I love pied and brindle. If you look at my camp, about 80% of my dogs are pied or brindle or something. They have pied or brindle. But after I realized, like, oh, my vision is going this way, I went ahead and retired her daughter after 1 litter, retired her, and now I'm focused more on, like, just breeding smaller dogs, like small dogs, big bone, short back, things like that.
So at first, was it about the DNA, or did you originally kind of know, like, you know what, I know she's DNA, but I want to go for structure? Or was it after you talked to, what is his name, Turn Up Frenchies?
So I was completely after DNA when I first got into breeding. I researched everything. I know, you know.
Yeah, no.
I know. Like,
all of my DNA questions are to this man right here. Anytime I have oh, how does this, or what will I get if this is the guy right here.
Yeah, so I
hit him
know
up every time.
like what you could create with certain dogs. You put 2 dogs together. If I know their DNA, I'll tell you exactly what you're gonna get. But at the same time, I bought my first DNA per se dog, lilac and tan, fluffy carrier, testable carrier, cream carrier. She could make. I was going for the new shade Isabella Visual Fluffy because those dogs were fetching like what $20K plus at the time. So at the time, I was like, all right, let me go drop a bag on this dog, and at the same time, like, I was like, dang, I want structure and small dogs. So my second breeding that I paid for a stud credit, planned on doing, was the Papa Roach. Papa Roach is an imported small cream short back from China. Like I bought a female from Gordo's Bulldogs out in Florida. Shout out to them. She's the
I remember
foundation for
Gordo's.
pretty much.
I remember Papa Roach too. He looked good.
Yeah,
man.
he's
That was
nice.
one of the
Roach,
first dogs
bro.
that I seen that was just extremely fucking compact, bro. I seen him and I remember the picture perfectly. It had a phone on top of his back, and I was like, "Holy fuck! What
When you
the fuck?"
see Man, just think Papa Roach's back is half a Man's back.
I can't even picture
It's-
that,
it's
bro.
kind of
Because
crazy.
Man is compact as shit.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I mean? So yeah, that's
Papa Roach blew my mind, but it's not like I wanted that style dog.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a proportional small dog. So that's why my female that I have, Duchess, she was perfect to go to him because she has the traits for dwarfism just like he does. So it's kind of like I doubled up on the short leg, the dwarfism, the small dog features, because just like with color, breeding for different structural features like phenotypes is the same thing. You can get traits for dwarfism. You can get traits for like short back. You can get traits for short legs. You just got a DNA test for those certain traits. And now that I know about that, I'm realizing like, okay, I put these two dogs together, they're gonna make nothing but short legs, stubby dogs. Like it's like a whole different side of DNA that you wouldn't even think of. Because with DNA, people think of
color.
color,
Yeah.
Of color,
rojo, husky,
furnishings, yeah.
yeah, things like that. But there's actually way deeper side than that, like the structure side of DNA. And not everything you could test for, like bows, like bone, those are phenotypes. And with colors, I think it's just like, okay, it's easy. 1 + 1 = 2. But
Yeah.
with structural traits, you gotta really like know like, okay, this dog has a grandpa, a dad, and a great grandpa that has these traits. So if I breed this dog to this dog that has these traits as well, it's gonna double up on it and it's gonna make a consistent litter of like just whatever you want. You know what I mean? So like with me, I like the small, compact, cobby dogs now. Like as you know, like I've been promoting Man like way harder than anything. I kind of put Gary Coleman Jr. not on the back burner, but he's not retired. But if anybody wants to use him, they're more than welcome to use him. But I'm trying to promote my small stuff a lot more now. Like so, it's just like I have a vision now, and it's way more clear. Over the years, that's what I've built. Like I've figured out like what exactly I wanted.
I was gonna say because like we just jumped straight into phenotypes and DNA.
I know, I'm all
straight
learning
from
over
the
here.
thing.
I'm like, okay.
and we can dive into that too. But let's get back to when you just got started. You started off with one girl, then you ended up getting some boys. What's the dog that changed it for you? You said it was Gary Coleman Jr. That's what really turned you up.
So yeah, Gary Coleman Jr. definitely made me realize like, okay, promoting a stud is like, it's not easy, but as long as you got a nice stud, it's not hard. Like I took him to so many dog shows. Like I was out there getting so much footwork in. Went to Vegas for his first show, Pet Expo, won his first place, best try like at 8 months. So at that point I was like, okay, people were showing him love.
Did you
People loved
purchase him or did you produce
Yeah,
him?
I bought him.
You bought him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
How much did you buy him
cheap
for?
either. Yeah, it was 8,500.
85 for him?
But it was 100% worth it. Made all that back and
I love
even
Gary.
more. Yeah, he's a great dog. The only thing I would say is he likes to pee on shit. He likes
Always
to
one of them.
Yeah, man.
That's like fucking T-Rex, dude. Everywhere, bro. I
love
turn my
T-Rex,
head
man.
and pisses on everything, bro.
Yeah.
It's the most annoyingest shit ever because
And
it's
he's just-
always everywhere.
And he's always horny too. This boy, man. I can't even bring him around the girls without him trying to sniff everything up. It's crazy.
Did you have a mentor like when you first came in? Was there anybody that you were kind of like getting advice from, or anybody that was like, you know what, bro, do this, or did you kind of just experience everything yourself at first?
Really, I experienced it all just firsthand. Made my mistakes, like seen what mistakes I made, and just took it as a learning experience. I can't say I really made any mistakes. I just learned a lot along the way. I've learned a lot. Like from my first litter all the way up to now, like from whelping to putting dogs together to just everything, buying dogs even. Like I don't know the last dog I bought was Elsa, and trust me, she's really nice. But I mean, the only bad thing about her is she barks her ass off.
Those are fucking annoying.
But she's hopefully
For no reason, huh?
I just bred her.
or just any
barking.
little sound, bro. Any little sound, and then they turn the other dogs up.
And you can't get them to stop, bro.
God, bro.
Nah, I like Elsa though. Elsa's really, really nice. Who is she off of again?
She's off of her dad's name's Biggie too, just like your boy.
That's
but
right.
He's a 2 times Cobra, 2 times Python.
That's
and
right.
then her
Cobra.
mom is
I
no
love
cap, no cap daughter, so she's 2 times Cobra.
Isn't Cobra Genie Blood?
Yeah. Cobra's a genie.
Shout out Genie Blood, man.
Grandson,
Dude's
I
been doing
think.
his thing. That Genie Blood goes crazy.
Yeah.
No,
But-
it definitely does.
How do you go from how did you go from being kind of against breeding, or not even like really against it, but like, nah, I'm not gonna do it, to like, you know what, I got my Frenchie and I'm balls to the wall, you're investing good money, thousands of dollars into these dogs, and so what changed that? What went from this to that?
So basically, when I realized, okay, a French bulldog is not gonna end up in the Humane Society because somebody just doesn't want it anymore or can't handle it, or you know what I mean, like. Nobody's gonna spend thousands of dollars on a dog and send it to the Humane Society, or like just like let it run the streets or something like that. So when I grew up, I believe it or not, my mom she had like, she was with this dude that he would breed dogs and out in Ohio, and like sad to say they were fighting dogs, like, and I seen that and I was like. I don't want anything to do with breeding. Like, dude was he was a piece of shit to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we took in his dog that he was fighting with like some other dog. I don't know. This dog was a massive pit bull, bro. Like, biggest pit bull I've ever seen. Like like monster size. His name was Suge. And when I took him in, like I was like 15 years old, maybe 14 years old. And I was like, dang, he has scars all over him. Like he been through it. You know what I mean? Like, so when I seen that, I was like, oh, these guys are just breeding pit bulls and like fighting them, doing stupid stuff like that. And like, I seen all the dogs on like in the Humane Society, like what, 80% of dogs in the Humane Society are like, at least have a little bit of like pit bull in them or something. You know what I mean? So I only seen backyard breeding for years. And then when I realized, like, oh, there's a whole nother side to this. There's luxury dog breeding too, where people are gonna go and buy the dog because they are gonna give it a great home. They'll never not give it a great home. So that's what kind of flipped the switch for me, and I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. Like at the end of the day, like if I don't like it, I'll just keep the dogs because I love dogs. I've loved dogs ever since I was a little kid. I remember when I was, I think 6 years old. I went to the park like with my stepbrothers and stepsisters, and I brought home this little puppy. I remember like yesterday. I named her Ruby. Like my mom got mad at me because I brought home a dog, like a random dog, and she was like, "You're gonna take care of that dog. You're gonna buy it food. You're gonna do whatever." You know what I mean? I'm not. That's
You're
your
all,
responsibility.
I'm down as fuck. Yeah, let's do it. You're like, I'm going to the store right now. I'm going to get some money, though.
Ready to be a single father out here to this dog,
No,
man.
low key,
Provide.
I started like sweeping people's yard or like breaking
shit.
up. Like I like did little jobs around the apartments because we lived in apartments. You know what I mean? Like people wanted their dogs walked, people wanted their yard clean. I would make a little bit of money here and there, and I would actually buy the dog food, everything. But unfortunately, that dog, she ended up passing away early. She got parvo or something. I don't even know what it was. Mm-hmm. But like caring for her and all that made me realize like, oh, I love dogs, man. Like these are like better than humans. You know what I mean?
So you always had that passion, that for that love for animals.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. So now that you're at the point where you have a vision now, you have a kennel, you have a vision. What is that vision that you're going for?
So my vision is I like smaller dogs, like just a shorter back, no neck, like just complete like proportion wise, not too short back, not long legs, like they just look complete and small. That's just what I'm after. Like I don't care if it has the color, I don't care if it has like whatever, like fluffy or anything. Like I've already started incorporating I have a man sister that I sold. And my boy, he first degree Frenchie, shout out to him. He produced a boy Cubone off of her, And man, he's reminding me of Man, like 100%. He's small, super thick. He just turned 6 months, and he has Rojo. Like he can make Isabella, all that color stuff. So like I'm slowly incorporating it into the smaller frame dogs. But at the end of the day, like I just want them to be small and thick. That's
short
all I
and
like.
thick is what you're going for. Will you ever go for a short and thick fluffy?
Oh man, that's exactly what I want. Like, and when I
Shit,
I tried to make fluffies. I had a litter with my the female I talked about, the lilac and tan fluffy carrier, Isabella carrier, all that. She had all the DNA. I had a litter with her. She actually produced me 2 new shades, possible fluffies. And long story short, she slept on the dogs for you leave her with them for an hour. She was kind of a bigger dog, so she was kind of like they didn't really know exactly where she was laying. Maybe go and check on her. The dogs were, unfortunately, they didn't make it. But I have one of her daughters. She's huge. I'm not gonna breed her. She's just a pet. So after I seen
It's always
how,
the good ones that go, bro. I swear to God. If they're either freaky and you're like, oh, fuck, this is the one, or if it's that one that has the color. Because I remember when that happened, we were talking, and you told me, I'm like, fuck, bro. I felt the pain for you. Because I'm like, you know what I mean? The DNA on something like that, you don't run across it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You really, really don't.
But after that, like, I just doubled down on structure. Really, like, I want to just breed a smaller dogs. But if they're small with no bone or anything like that, I can't. But they got to be small. Have some pedigree. I'm big on pedigree. Like, that's one of my things. Is like I study pedigrees. I know what dogs are. I could tell you, like,
Who are your top dogs or top bloodlines?
my top favorite bloodlines. I like the Grinch, the Seuss, and the Cobra. Those are my favorites, I would say, because I love how the Cobra face looks. Like if you look at like anything that's like Cobra blood, they have this like distinctive face. Like I like dogs that have distinctive looks to them that you can like reproduce or like mix. Right now I'm at a point where I'm just mixing certain bloods together so I can call something my own. You know what I mean? Like, cause I don't wanna just be riding anybody's wave or anything like that. I want to create my own wave.
But and I'm glad we're all here together. And like, how do you think that goes now that there's already big bloodlines that are established? You know what I'm saying? Maui line, Genie blood, all that stuff. Like how you said, you're mixing all these bloods and stuff, to make your own. Is that what you think it takes to make your own pedigree, to make your own bloodline?
So, from what I've learned over the years, I don't think it's your own until you have like generations in there. You know what I mean? You created the parents, you created the grandparents, and then boom, like those dogs that are coming out are all your dogs. Like you can't tell somebody else like, oh, this is your bloodline. No, like if I mix Grinch, Cobra, XB, and Seuss together, and I did it my way with some of the shrink sauce from Man or something like that. That's mine, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm after. I want to create a bloodline that I can call my own. Not even just like off of a certain dog, but just like one of one blood. You know what I mean? Like I want somebody to be like, oh, I want to use that one of one blood dog. Like that's my goal. I seen at when I first started, I seen people like posting about pedigree, like, oh, like my name is from front to back, 5 generations. You know what I mean? And I saw that and it clicked in my head. And I'm like, dang, I want to do that. And it really wasn't about like creating a bloodline at that time. Now it's more like, oh yeah, I really want to create something that I can call my own, like one of one blood, you know?
Yeah, because that's an accomplishment. You know what I mean? To actually have generations and you can see your name on all of that shit, that would be dope.
Yeah, right now I have the most dogs I have on a pedigree is probably 6 dogs. I have 6 dogs that are one of one exotic Frenchies, this dog, you know what I mean? And it's 3 generations basically, like the mom and dad, the grandparents, and no, actually, I haven't even got to the great grandparents yet, because anything that I've made off of like great grandparents, I haven't really kept it because it wasn't really what I wanted, not my vision. But once I start producing off of Man's puppies or Man's sisters, like those are the real ones that I'm really trying to buckle down and take to my best dogs. Or low-key, I just did a breeding with Man and one of my baddest females. I'm not gonna put it out there yet because I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that it takes.
Nah,
but it's gonna really
it's gonna
really show what he does, you know, like because not that many people have used them, and out of the people that I've used Man, I would say like they've made some really nice dogs. Like and nobody's ever taken a bad bitch to Man. Like
Did you produce
bad bitch.
Man?
Yeah. He was actually my second litter. My first litter, the accidental one, I'll say like that. I don't claim it. You know what I mean? Those dogs all got sold. Great prices. They're in great homes. Because it was the heart of the pandemic. You know, the money was flowing. Everybody was paying whatever they wanted for a dog. They're like...
I wish that's when I came in. That's when I came in
That
as
was
like
the
the
easiest
buyer.
part.
Though, but
Me too, me too,
but as
fam.
far as like,
Me
you know, I
too.
have puppies, or if I had Biggie around 12 months old and working around the pandemic, oh my God, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I produced a fucking new shade Isabella visual fluffy Merle 1 year too late. So trust me,
Bro.
I know about all that.
The money they were
spiky
getting
numbers.
for those dogs and like 2022 was insane, bro. 2021, 2022.
And you didn't even have to be on, bro. Anybody back then, from what I heard, as long as you had something nice, of course you have a bigger kennel, it's going to sell for more. But even on the lower side was still way fucking higher than what we're at right now.
Oh,
you know, which brings me to a good topic. What do you consider a breeder? You know, that's kind of a hot topic that I've been seeing go around. So what do you consider like an actual breeder?
I would say as long as you've had a couple litters under your belt, you know what I mean? Like, you don't gotta whelp the litters. Not everybody has time to whelp, you know what I mean? Like, it's a 24/7 job. Whelping a litter, like that first 2 weeks, critical. Like especially that first week, first few days, you gotta be on your shit 24/7. If you hear some weird shit going on, you gotta be doing it, like suctioning the puppies. You know what I mean? Anything. But like, if somebody is like never had a litter, only like. As long as you've had a couple, like a litter or two under your belt, you're a breeder. You know what I mean? You bred dogs. You literally bred some dogs. But if you're like just getting into it and you never had a litter, you can't really call yourself a breeder at that point. You know what I mean? But like I considered myself a breeder after my first litter. I bought my first pair of Crocs. And, you know what I mean?
Do you still own those Crocs?
And they're pretty flat on the bottom, but
Damn.
I've gotten a few pairs since then.
Extra miles on it. That is the universal breeder shoes right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
All the time.
I remember
bro.
when my boy,
baby.
shout out First Degree Frenchies. I remember when he had his first litter, I bought him his first pair of Crocs. I was like,
That's love.
it's initiation right here.
Yeah, bro. That's how I feel about the New Balances, bro. Like I haven't bought a pair of New Balances, even though they're fire.
I've been
'Cause
close to.
From my generation, bro, I feel like you gotta be. Those are dad shoes, bro.
1000%.
Another dad has to give those to you. It's like a
With
ritual,
the jean
bro.
shorts
It's a
on, bro,
ritual.
the high white
The
socks.
Jordans, I can't wait, bro. I'm waiting for another father to give me a pair of New Balances, man. I'm waiting. Any dads out there for a gift, let me know.
That's how you gotta get them. You gotta get them from a. I see.
You gotta be, you know what I'm saying? That's the initiation, bro. You can't just buy them. You gotta be gifted them. That's just my view on it.
You gotta
What
earn-
is
you gotta
your
earn
view
them.
on a breeder, man? What makes a breeder?
So for me, because it's such a controversial topic, you know, a lot of people like to get technical and they're like, you know what, you're a whelper, you're a stud program, no, you're a producer, you know. But for me personally, I just look at it broad, bro. Like if you are putting in work to breed a dog, whether you're using your stud, whether you're breeding your own dogs, it's still breeding dogs. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Now, if it's somebody that doesn't have, you know, any dogs in their house and they're kind of like an internet or what I call a virtual breeder or an investor, nah, those aren't breeders. You know? But if you're putting in the legwork and you're like, you know what, my stud is getting used a lot, you are contributing to breedings. You know what I mean? You are still technically breeding because you are giving them the sample, whatever the case is. Obviously, there's a difference between that and producing your own dogs. But I'm kind of the same way as he is. As long as you have a couple productions or you're contributing to someone breeding and you're there, I consider that a breeder, bro. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, if you have an LLC, you're not going to be like, well, my occupation is I'm a stud program or I'm a whelper. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're still a breeder. If you are either the whelping aspect, the stud aspect, or if you're just in lab all the time, you know what I mean? Just fucking breeding all, you know what I mean? That's how I see it. Because a lot of people, bro, that's like, oh, I need to get technical and I know that I just produce dogs and that's what makes you a breeder. You know what I mean?
I feel like
a lot of ego.
it's a pride. It's exactly that's what I was
Yeah.
getting. It's a pride thing. I feel like for the people that whelp their own litters, you know, that they look like, you know, look down on like, oh, he doesn't whelp his own litters. Oh, he doesn't
1000%,
produce
bro.
his own dogs, or oh, he doesn't. Like, people are always gonna talk, man. They're always gonna talk shit. People are always gonna have their own opinions and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's true. Like, we're all in the dog field. We're all in the dog industry.
And if you look, you know, obviously we probably all tried whelping our first litter. I mean, at least I know I did. Wasn't extremely successful. But if you look at, like, let's say a lot of the top dogs doing crazy numbers, a lot of times they're too fucking busy, you know, so they hire a whelper, which isn't, of course, cheap, you know what I mean? But that to me is like, if I can hire someone to do it, and this is me personally, if I can hire someone to do it, so then I can have all the time in the world to
Time is money,
still
man.
get my
Time
content,
is money.
still do this, still do that. You know what I mean, bro? You're winning, bro. It's about working smarter. You
And
know what I
that's
mean?
the part that I feel like, you know, the people that do have that opinion, like, oh, you're not a real breeder unless you whelp your own litters. Well, I'm sorry, but 9 times out of 10, that's probably their only business. They're probably only doing dogs at the time, because you can't have a 9 to 5 and whelp a litter for the first 2 weeks. I don't care who you are.
You can't.
Like
I don't
I was
care who
saying,
you are.
you can have litters, but if not everybody has time to whelp a litter, you know, that's a full-time job, 24/7. Like, if something, especially if you got weak puppies, dogs that need to be tube fed every 2 hours, things like that.
A
Like,
mom that doesn't want to be a
Like
mom.
it-
There's just too many aspects
the
and
word.
things that
Yeah.
can go wrong, man. There's just so many things, and it's like, even if you do have a job, like, I'm not trying to slam people that, you know, that breed dogs and have other things, but I just know from personal experience, like, you know, not even on myself, but for people that I mentor, like, I co-own with what is it? It's All Frenchie to Me, man. Shout out, It's All Frenchie to Me. I co-own a litter with them, and so dude's a nuclear engineer. So he
Damn.
makes, dude's a nuclear engineer. And when he had his puppies, he had to take time off of his work, you know. And it's just like, man, you have to literally dedicate your life for at
You
least
have
the
to,
first 2
bro.
weeks to these puppies, and to put everything else at a standstill. So some people don't have that, and you know, if you have the money, the luxury to be able to pay somebody else to do it, let them do it. And plus, that's spreading money within the community.
yeah, that doesn't
Exactly.
discredit you as a breeder, I don't think. You know what I mean? I've heard people say, like, oh, this person doesn't whelp their own litters, they're not a real breeder. I've heard that too. And I'm like, all right, so just because they had money to pay a whelper and they got other things that they got to do, take care of business, pay their bills and everything, like, that doesn't make them a breeder. Yeah, they put the dogs together still. They bred them. They had the litter.
It all goes to
that's-
that topic, bro. What we were saying last time, it's because they can't do it, bro. You know what I mean?
Facts, bro.
It's because they can't. Because I mean,
it's low key kind of hate, bro. They be hating because they
Yeah.
can't do it, bro. That's like saying, you know, like, oh, I'm not a prostitute. Like, I just get paid to suck dick. I don't get fucked. Like, no, I'm sorry, but you're still out there, bro. I'm sorry. No, you're a prostitute. You're still a whore.
factual.
That was a good one.
So back to the interview, man. You know, honestly, man, like, I'm really getting to know you right now and stuff too, and how long you've been breeding and stuff. And I know you haven't been breeding too long, but the reason that I wanted to get you on the podcast is because you're having motion with this, with the breeding. Not just that, you're stepping outside of breeding. You know, a lot of people that you'll meet, not even just in this dog game, but in general in life, people are scared to pursue their dreams. People will have a great idea. They'll have $1 million idea, $1 million dream, and they won't pursue it. They won't do something. And the reason that I wanted to get you on the show, man, was because you started doing dog shows. You started hosting dog shows, and that's a huge step within the community to be able to jump out there, put yourself out there, and really just step into a field of, you know, of possibilities that where anything can go wrong, you know?
No, yeah, and definitely, like, I was thinking of doing like, ask this guy. We've been talking about a dog show for I don't know how long.
Long time.
Like, after I would say,
time.
remember when they had that one at the Bully Shop, the first one here in Tucson?
Yeah, I remember
After
perfectly.
that, I was like, we should do one, like, and just never really came to fruition because, like, there's a lot of different things that go into having a dog show, but at the same time, once you start to do it, it's like people fuck with it. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're foot on the gas, promoting it, doing it, like sharing it, like making sure that it's in people's faces. Because if you don't promote, you're just with anything else in life. If you don't put it in their face, nobody's gonna know about it. Like, just like a stud, just like your litter, just like your any aspect of anything. If people don't see it, how do you expect them to come? How do you expect them to do anything or like want to buy into it or But like when we did Barker Treat back in October, I didn't even think it was gonna be like too crazy. You know what I mean? Like it was an idea at first. We Future Bullies Javi, he had this one little get together gathering at the park, Bulls and Barbecue. He did it twice. After the second one, he had an idea like let's do a something similar to Trunk or Treat, but for Halloween, and for a dog show, you know what I mean? So we had the idea.
So
like,
that was Javi's idea?
yeah, it was 100% Javi's idea.
Shout out Javi, Future
Shout out
Bullies.
Javi, Future Bullies, Exotic Breeder Association. That's the gear I'm rocking right now.
Oh, we'll get into that too. So are you part of the exotic breeder? Because it's a few
No.
kennels, isn't it?
I'm just rocking it. You know what I
just
mean?
support-
Like we might think of something in the long run. You know what I mean? Like, cause I fuck with him heavy, bro. Like he's a cool dude, genuine person. Like really about his shit. Like I fuck with him because he asked me, like he was like, oh, do you want to do Barker Treat with me? Because at first it was like, okay, we're gonna do Barker Treat, kind of like it wasn't even an idea for a full-on show like it was at first. It was more of a like, let's get some people out, have a bunch of candy at the tents, have the kids go trick-or-treating at the tents, and then maybe do like a little stack off, you know what I mean? But long story short, like I got on it, and we brought in Little Big Frenchies and Distinctive Bulls, and we just started promoting the shit out of it, and we sold a lot of booths. We did them cheap, $50, you know what I mean? It wasn't really like breaking the bank to come to the show or anything, but it was more for the community. We did that for like we had so many toys. Shout out this guy, man. Them
Well, I
toys you
remember,
got,
I forgot
you
about
gave
that.
so many toys, bro. I was like,
I
what?
love kids, bro. You know, what I mean, I got kids of my own, so I'm like, you know what? It's in my city. You know, my boys are throwing the show. It was like a must, bro. You know.
Yeah, it was so many toys. Like we wanted to give the toys out a little bit different, but it was a little hectic. Like it was a first show, of course, so not everything goes as planned because like there's little intricacies that like, okay, this guy's gonna do this guy's gonna do that. We just kind of like winged it at the day of the show. Like we were like, okay, let's get it. We did a comedy show. We did some live performances from some local rappers. And at the end, we did the dog show. It was really fun. Like the vibe was crazy. The amount of people that turned out blew my mind. Like I was like,
it was
wow,
popping.
this is kind of crazy. Like there's so many people, and that's why I was like, after we did that one, I had an idea in my head. I was like, okay, maybe not like right after, but let's do another one. Like and go more into just dog show, because we're gonna do Barker Treat again, but this upcoming show we have in March, Bark Madness, this is like just straight dog show, you know what I mean? Like March Madness theme, like it was crazy how we came up with the name too, like Bark Madness, March, you know what I mean? Came up with some ideas to make it like similar to a basketball tournament type thing with the no hands stack off tournament that I haven't seen anybody do that, and the way that we're gonna do it, people are gonna be like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I haven't really like explained how it's gonna go down, but it's the tournament style, no hands stack off.
Explain it, because by the time this drops, by the time this releases, it'll be like 2 weeks until your dog show.
That'll be perfect.
It'll be perfect.
So how that works, like, cause I was thinking like, okay, how could we make this just like the NCAA tournament for March Madness? So we did the Sweet 16. No hand stack off. Everybody does a no hand stack off with the stack off belts, whatever, you know what I mean? But to make it a little bit more fun, we're doing it one-on-one, basically tournament style. So there's 16 dogs. There's the Elite 8 round, just like the Sweet 16. There's the Elite 8, the Sweet 16, the Final 4, then the championship round. It's one-on-one. First dog to moves on to the winner moves on to the next round. And there's a cash prize at the end. We got a big 2-foot tall trophy for the winner. Then we got a runner-up one as well. We were gonna give $2,000 for the winner, but I decided like, okay, the other person that makes it to the championship round, they might want to feel a little special too. So we're gonna break it down: $500 to them, $1,500 to the winner. And then, of course, they get a trophy as well. So that's what makes it sweet. Only 16 dogs can join. I think we got like 6 already locked in. So if you haven't locked in that spot, you better lock it in quick because we're only doing 16 and then it's over.
So there's only 10 spots available?
Yeah, only 10 spots left.
10 spots. Lock in, guys.
But yeah, like the dog show it's just really fun to do. Like in my eyes, I don't even care about making money off of it at the end of the day. Like Barker Treat, we made some money off of it, but it wasn't like we made thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? It was more like we spent a lot on toys and candy. We spent like $500 on candy, and just all the little things that went into it. You know what I mean? Like so, at the end of the day, I'm doing it more for like the networking opportunity. People, when you throw a dog show, people just see you as a different person. Like okay, this guy threw a dog show. You know what I mean? Like he's not just a breeder; he's a dog show host too. Like it's a different type of respect that you get. And I noticed it after the first show. Like I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. You know what I mean? And I really enjoyed doing Barker Tree. As hectic as it was, man, we busted out them trophies in like a week because there was some technical difficulties. We made all the trophies ourselves. We didn't go and like outsource them, have somebody else make them. We made all of the custom designs. Shout out to my brother. He's a custom driller as well. One of one, I swear. If you don't follow him, follow him.
Shout
get
out,
yourself
bro,
a
man.
grill. Go get you a custom grill, pendant, whatever.
Shit, I might do that. Can you picture me with a grill on or no?
Bro,
I can
I'm
see
thinking
it,
about
man. I
getting
can see
one,
it.
bro. I'm thinking about getting one, but I gotta get the chain.
And maybe the bottom. Maybe the bottom. We'll see what's up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He was like if he wasn't there to make the trophies for us for that one, because that was when I first started learning about 3D printing, things like that. So I didn't know what I was doing with it. He made them all. Like I put them together. Like it was crazy. But at the end of the day, we had trophies for everybody. Like they weren't the craziest, best quality, but this one's for Bark Madness. We stepped it up. Trophies are gonna be badass. That's all I can say. Can't wait to see everybody out at the show and competing to get these trophies that we're working hard on making right now as we speak.
When's your show and where?
March 29th.
March 29th.
Yep, here in Tucson, Arizona. Bark Madness.
Bark Madness.
And that's what's cool. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Is it gonna be an indoor show or outdoor show?
It's an outdoor show. I checked the weather, just make sure like that it wasn't going to be super hot. It says that it's going to be around 70, 73 degrees that day, so it shouldn't be too crazy. Like, so hopefully it sticks to that, and we don't have no dogs getting overheated or anything. Because I know how it is with these Frenchies or bullies. Like, they don't do well in the heat. That's why I was kind of not really wanting to move it to the end, but we had some technical difficulties with the printer, the 3D printer, so we just had to reschedule it a little later so they can make sure that we got the trophies done 100%. Because that's the big thing. If you're throwing a dog show, people are going to compete to get a trophy. If if you're not making the trophies worth the drive, the $20 that they're entering per category to get them, like, then I say like. It's not you're in it just for the money, you know what I mean? Like, cause what we're doing, like I'm not gonna say how much I spent on like making the trophies, but it's not cheap, you know what I mean? And the time it takes too, like, cause it's all in house. We designed the whole trophy.
Yeah, shit, you got some shit printing right now while you're working.
Yeah, sure, yeah, man.
That's fire.
That 3D printer is running 24/7 right now, busting them trophies. I'm thinking of buying another one actually. I got 2 of them right now. Thinking of buying a 3rd one just so I can go twice as fast or a little bit faster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, trophies are important. And that's what I learned like going to dog shows myself is like when I went to a dog show and they gave me like some little ribbon like that was like 10 cents on Amazon. And
Or
I'm
they
like,
give you
dang, I
like the
drove
Little
all the
League
way.
trophies. Have you seen those ones? The Little League trophies with like the little stars on top.
Yeah.
I've seen even some of those, bro.
Oh man. When they don't put the time and the effort into the trophies, it's like, why even throw the show? You know what I mean? Like, cause
Yeah.
I've been to, I don't know how many dog shows, and when I go, I drop a bag on categories. I'll enter like at least 10 categories with all my dogs. So if I'm gonna put trophies on my wall, I don't want them to be like this little ribbon that they paid 15 cents on Amazon for. Like, no shade to those dog shows, but I went to some ones that were out of state. You know what I mean? El Paso, whatever.
Oh, I remember those. I still have
man,
those ribbons. I still
they
have
gave
those
me,
ribbons.
For second place, they gave me a science fair ribbon. Like, it looked like I won it at the science fair, man, in elementary. I was like, oh, man, never again.
No, but that's cool from looking on the outside in, you know, because it's all about taking that first step. You know, because from my point of view, I remember when you told me about the show, you know, and I can genuinely feel your excitement. You know, like you found your passion in that. You know, when you started throwing in and telling me, I was like, damn, like there's a difference from someone throwing a show for money or someone doing it because they had the idea. And then when they're doing the idea, they're like, you know what? Like, I really fuck with this. You know what I mean? Because now you got another show. You got like 2 shows this year, right?
Yeah, we did Bark Retreat October. We're doing Bark Madness in March, and I plan on doing them every year with Javi. Like if we can just keep it going, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's all about taking that first step. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people won't. I'm about that. You know, because there's a lot of ideas I've had, but I'm just like I just don't do it. You know, I just never get around to it. You know, but it's cool to watch from the outside. Definitely. One thing that I want to ask, you know, because I know there's a lot of people that might want to throw a show eventually. What does a show kind of cost? If you can give someone kind of like a rough estimate that's like, you know what, I want to throw a show, but I really don't know what to pay, what to expect. You know what I mean?
That's a good ass question.
Yeah, because you know what I mean?
I want to throw a show soon.
So if you do it right, you don't have to really come out of pocket until like so if you're selling booths from the beginning, you have a budget. You know what I mean? So talking numbers like Bark Madness. So with Bark Madness, we've already sold like maybe 30 booths. So we haven't even came out of pocket anything. We're still running off the budget that we've raised off the booths. So at the end of the day, like total expenses, I would say expect to spend around, if you're going bare minimum, not trying to like book a crazy venue or add in special people that like coming from out of state that you got to pay for their hotel or pay to come out. Like if you have it all like on lock, you could throw a show for like $4,000, maybe 4.5. If I'm thinking about Bark Retreat, like we spent about $4 to $5 to throw that show, and at the end of it, like we weren't really charging a lot for booths. $50 a booth is cheap.
That's cheap.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a player price for sure.
We were doing that so we could just bring everybody out. You know what I mean? We didn't want anybody to feel like, oh, this is too much for me to come out. Like, is it even gonna be worth it? You know what I mean? So we priced them cheap, and we didn't really make a whole bunch off of the booths, but at the end of the day, we didn't come out negative. We didn't have to like come out of pocket to throw the show. We each left with like, it was 4 of us. We each left with about $300-$400. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you guys did make a little bit.
Yeah, we made a little bit off of it.
Oh,
And it was more for the experience.
Better than coming
though.
out negative for sure.
Yeah, if you come out negative, that's gonna make me think like, oh man, what did we do wrong? Like, what can we do different? Like, and at the end of the day, like you can still do things different. You can line things up correctly to where like, okay, I don't have to pay this much for this thing, or like bring out a MC that is wanting to just do it just to do it for you. You know what I mean? Like, cause at the end of the day, like bringing special guests, bringing MCs, bringing like different things like that from out of state, those people always want to pay something. So if you could keep it like local and still keep it popping, then it's not gonna cost you that much. You could do it literally off of what you make off booth lock-ins and things like that, especially if you're making your trophies. That's one thing that I would say played a major role, because I did get quotes from other people like to do the trophies. Everything was a little bit higher than I wanted to, that we wanted to spend on it, because we weren't really doing it for like, oh, making a whole bunch of money. So at the end of the day, we spent about maybe $1,500 to $2,000 just making the trophies, because like I had to buy a printer, had to buy everything, all the materials, you know what I mean? But if I were to go to somebody else to make trophies, it was easily over $2,000 for the amount of and that wasn't even a lot of categories at that show. If I were to do it for Bark Madness, we have 60 plus categories. It would definitely run about 4,000 plus on just spending on the trophies. And now that I have a 3D printer, have multiple 3D printers, it's the next one's gonna be cheaper. Like, and I got more experience making the trophies. They're just gonna get better and better every time. And that's what I learned, is the trophies are what really like people come to Dog Show to win a trophy. You know what I mean? Because it makes them feel great. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know. think I might have 100 trophies, like in first, second, third place, ribbons, whatever, hanging on my wall right now. And I look at it, I'm like, dang, I spent $20 on each one of these. You know what I mean? I'm like,
just got wrecked.
No, trophies are major, bro. Because I can't tell you how many shows I've went to, and I'm always, that's the first thing I ask, what does a hardware look like? You know what I mean? That to me, that's huge.
It is.
You know, because if they're on your wall and you're looking, you're like, bro, why the fuck would I want to look at this plastic? You know what I mean? Every single show.
Yeah, that's a big part. The trophies is what I've learned is the top 3 things that go into making a dog show happen. Because if you're just giving out some cheap stuff that you bought because you don't put no effort into making the trophies and making them custom theme for what you're doing or something like that, then people aren't gonna really care for them as much, and they're not gonna take videos when they go to the dog show, post them on their story. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of thing that you want, is for people to be their mind blown with the trophies, just because like that's what they came for.
You did have some good trophies. You got some good trophies coming up. You just showed us the little blueprints.
I know where I'm going for my trophies.
For real, facts, bro, facts.
Hey,
so after the dog show, what does 101 got planned? What does the future have in store for you? Where do you plan on taking your kennel?
Well, I mean, 2025, I would say we're doing our best breedings. And that's how everybody should be. Every year you should elevate. If you're doing the same thing you did last year, then you're not moving forward. You're literally staying in the same spot, producing the same thing. Like, if you might even be taking steps back because you're doing the same thing, and like you might not produce anything that's better than what you produced before.
What's your most exciting breeding coming up?
Man, I just bred Elsa, the female I was talking about. I just bred her. I'm not gonna talk about who I bred her to.
Why not?
That people want to know.
Take a shot. If you don't want to tell us, take a shot.
I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot.
Let's take a drink, brother.
Cheers
all
to
I gotta
that.
say is
Is it next level? Because I mean, you got Man, bro. Which Man to me is super fire. He won Best in Show. We didn't get into that too.
Yeah,
he won a Best
that
in
was
Show.
such a lit fucking
That was such a
night,
good
bro.
moment, bro. Like honestly, I had left. I had a booth there at that show and everything, but I had left like a little bit before then because you know everybody was tired. The dogs
Yeah,
were
I
tired.
feel
I had a
that.
far drive back, so I left. But I remember going home and I seen online like who won that Best in Show. I saw him and everybody was turned up on it. I feel like all Tucson was out there, bro.
Bro, we were really deep that night,
you know
bro.
what's crazy? Like after that show, right after the show, I got a DM. I was like, "Oh, you only won because your homie was the judge."
No.
And I was
Hey,
like,
guess who was the judge? For y'all that don't know, I was the judge that night.
and
But
it's
you were the
not-
judge for the Best in Show?
Yeah, exactly. He was not the judge for Best in Show.
I wasn't the judge for Best in Show.
Like,
I
come
was
on.
not. I was judging the Frenchies though, you know what I mean? And bro, it's hard when you're a judge because obviously you know who the handlers are, you know? But if you go in and you ignore the handler, not 100% because you still have to see the dog to handler connection, but just block them the fuck out and look at the dog, and that's what I did. You know what I mean? Because I was getting a lot of shit too, bro. Everybody's hitting me up. Hey, bro, I'm pretty sure the same dude that wrote you probably wrote me. You know what I mean? I told him straight up, bro, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I was 100% the dog, bro.
How did you take that also, though, bro? You know, did you take that as somebody hating on you?
Oh, it was 100% hate, but I laughed it
remember
off.
that.
I was like, what did you produce? Like, what did you put out
What
there?
did you
You know
come
what I
home
mean?
with?
Like, I literally was like, let me see your dogs. Like, they didn't want to send me no pictures of their dogs because you know they probably have some ass. Like,
That's always how it is, bro. That's
it's all good
always
though,
how it is.
man. I expected it because, like, at the end of the day, Man's a really nice dog. The thing that won Best in Show for me that day was a simple fact that Man is great on the lead and he walked perfectly.
He put that work in.
He walked perfectly. Like everybody else that was in that top 5 Best in Show, they had to pick their dog up.
Yeah,
Like,
none of them were walking. They couldn't do the walk. I remember.
And Trey said it himself. He's like, all right, all these dogs are nice, but the one thing that set him apart was he did everything. Like, Man did everything. He walked, he stacked, he side shot, front shot, didn't move around, wasn't being all, like, trying to fight the next dog next to him or anything like that. He's a really good dog. And to be honest, I don't even really work with Man like that. He's just a good, he's just been good since, I think he's just lazy, to be honest.
He's all just wanting to stand there.
He
He's
was
like,
just about to give him his flowers, and he was like, Actually, honestly, he ain't shit.
And he's a nice dog too, though, because a lot of people get it confused. A lot of people will go in the ring and they'll be like, you know what? I know my dog is gonna stack, so I need that trophy because it's gonna stack. But it's not all about that, The dog still has to be quality in my eyes. That's at least how I judge.
Yeah.
It has to be, for me personally, 70% of what the dog looks like, and that 30% they still have to fucking stack. That's how I
That's
judge.
what people don't get too, because actually at that first show, one of my co-own partners, the same guy I was talking about earlier, he put one of the velvets that I have in the show ring in the exotic category, and he was like, "Man, she was the best dog. I can't believe she didn't win. She didn't win." And then I looked back at the video because I wasn't there in the ring. I didn't see, but this dude's holding it. He couldn't even put the dog down. He couldn't handle the dog at all because the dog was just doing the most and stuff. And then he told me, he's like, "Man, they robbed me. And then I had to break it down. I was like, "No, brother, like, you have a good dog, but just because you have a good dog doesn't mean that you're gonna come back with a trophy. Doesn't mean that you're gonna win."
Exactly, bro.
Facts.
Exactly. And I try explaining that to people, but you know how that shit goes. I'm like, look, bro, you can have a nice dog. If he's not working, he's probably not gonna win. Or vice versa, because there's a lot of people that can stack their dogs, but they do not. The dogs are ass, bro. So I'm like, why would I give a dog a trophy just because he or she is stacking, whereas a dog next to you is more complete, a nicer dog, and maybe they didn't stack the greatest, but they still stacked, It just wasn't fucking AKC picture you know what I mean? Because, at the end of the day, I've been in the ring a lot, and I know how it is, because it's like, I'll be in there, Biggie, we're stacking, and I'm like, bro, just because a dog was fucking stacking, like, don't get me wrong, Biggie was stacking, but it wasn't like he wasn't fucking blinking type shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
Okay. So get on with this interview, man, because I know we could keep talking dogs. We're
all
dog
day,
people,
bro.
Man. We could keep talking dogs. What is the highlight so far of your career that you feel like?
Definitely that Best in Show. That Best in Show
is one of the best.
And man, when we won People's
picture.
Choice that day too. I don't know if you seen that part.
What was
that? That's what I
did
meant.
you
The
say?
People's Choice. That's what won. The People's Choice.
Dude, that was
the most hype thing I've ever.
We need to get some for the edits, man. So we can just put
so
them
people
up
can
there
put into their mind, because the energy, bro, the crowd, it was fucking insane, bro.
I remember I went up the last two dogs, Man and what is it? NSK. The dude with Cookie Monster. I don't know if he had Cookie
you know
Monster.
who that is, right? The one that he's always there. He has it's
NSK.
the Merle. Is it a Merle?
Yeah.
It's the bully.
He's cool.
I think it's a tick Merle, ain't it?
We were in there like, man, it was head to head.
It was lit.
And
bro,
I swear, like, the crowd was hyped for each dog. I lifted Madman up in the air one hand, you know what I mean? Like, and that was it. Everybody was like, "Damn," you know what I mean?
It was crazy, bro.
Yeah, no, that was.
It was definitely a vibe.
What do you think was the lowest point in your career so far? One of the biggest L's you've taken.
Biggest L?
Yeah, because everybody talks about the wins. They don't want to get into the losses, man.
I never talk about my losses really. Like if I post a loss, okay, my biggest L was losing one of my females on the table during a C-section. I would have to say that's definitely my biggest L. Little Piglet, R.I.P. Piglet. She was a badass dog, but she gave me she gave me something for the future, piggy bank. I know you've seen her on my page. She's a little 12-pound, heavy Grinch, like
tiny,
crazy little dog, man. I don't even know if I'm a breeder because I love her so much. Because like, at the end of the day, you don't gotta breed every dog just because you made a dog that's looking super dope. If you care about that dog to the point where like you don't want to risk its life, because at the end of the day, it's a risk. Every time you go and cut a dog open, have a C-section, it's a risk. Going under anesthesia, like I've had a lot of litters, but that's the only time I've had where the dog didn't make it through the C-section, and I count that to she went into labor in the middle of the night, like. Puppy was hanging out of her vagina for like 2 hours. Finally got her in for the C-section. It was pretty hard for her to go under anesthesia.
100%.
Made it through the whole C-section. At the end, she just clocked out, and it was terrible. You know what I mean? Like it was hard, but at the end of the day, like I knew something like that could happen because from the point where I first made my page. To like then like I was like always thinking about it in the back of my mind. What if the mom doesn't make it through the C-section? You know what I mean? And there's been so many successes, but it was bound to happen at least one time. Like, and I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen again either because that's just part of the game. That's just part of breeding. Like when you're putting a dog under anesthesia, they're not 100% guaranteed to make it. That's why you just go with the best vet that you can possibly go to, that's gonna make sure that your dog goes under properly, comes out properly, and like give it less of a chance of something like that happening. Because when I first started getting into breeding, trust me, like I was scared, man. Like when I had my first planned litter, like I said, my first litter was an unplanned litter. The dogs got stuck. I didn't even know when they were due. The mom went into labor. Like I took her in the middle of the night to the vet and emergency vet. Thankfully,
They probably taxed you, huh?
No, they were gonna.
Oh, you didn't get taxed?
Thankfully, she had a puppy when I took her in. She popped one out naturally, and they told me like, "Oh, we can do the C-section, or you can just leave her here and we'll monitor her, make sure she has the puppies right." And I had to put a deposit down for the C-section just in case they had to do it. It was gonna be like $3,800 for that C-section.
Damn.
And at the end, like they called me in the morning. They're like, "Oh, she popped them all out good. She's a good mom, feeding them everything. $500." I was like,
Nice.
That's a steal at a vet. That's a steal, bro.
Nice.
yeah, emergency vet in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's 1 in a million, bro.
Nice.
Yeah. After that, I bred my first female, Princess, and when like during her pregnancy, I saw like 2 dogs on the internet that I followed. These people, like some of my first followers, they lost dogs during the C-section, and I was so scared, bro. I was like, man, I don't want my girl to die, man. Like,
No,
why do
it's
I have
scary.
to see this stuff when she's pregnant? But she made it through. Everything was good. She was an incredible mom. Like, top 5, she's up there. But I had a second litter with her with Gary Coleman Jr. She had 2 on her first one, 5 on her second one, and I was like, all right, I love you too much. You don't gotta risk your life no more. So, and if you're breeding a female, just if you have that connection with her where you're like, I can't like sacrifice you or like risk your life, you know what I mean, for something, because at the end of the day, like it's still in your mind that something could happen.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest L. Piglet, man, R.I.P. She's an amazing dog, but like,
Yeah, man. R.I.P. to Piglet, man. I remember Piglet.
and I bred her to Lazy from Pristine Dogtown line. Ryan, man, he made me they made an incredible dog, little piggy bank.
Okay. What message do you have for anybody that's getting into breeding or wanting to get into breeding?
One message that I would say is find a mentor first, because the fact that I didn't start out with a mentor, I wasted a lot of money. At the end of the day, like, yeah, it's a waste of money. But I thankfully didn't spend all my money that I had on dogs. Like a lot of people do, like when they're first getting into dogs, they're like, oh, I got my income tax. I'm going to spend all this money on a dog and hopefully it brings me my money back. Because it's a process, and you could be waiting 2 years to see that money back, you know? So if you find somebody that can tell you like, hey, buy this dog because this dog's going to produce you something better, and don't just breed that dog to any dog. Breed that dog to, like, me personally, if I see somebody that's new to this and I see them going in a direction where it's like, okay, this is going to make you irrelevant in this shit, like, I'm going to try to steer them in the right direction. You can't, like, I can't tell somebody, like, hey, do this breeding or buy this dog. Like, but if I'm going to give you advice, I'm going to give you free advice, first of all, and I'm going to give you advice that's beneficial to you. Like, it might not be your vision. It might just be going based off what I've experienced and what I've done in the last 3.5 years, I think, is how long it's been since I've had my first litter. It's been like 4.5 years since I bought my first Frenchie. And I would say, like, having a mentor is 100% the most important part of starting out in anything too. Not just breeding, not just like anything in life.
Nice. Is there a message that you'd like to give to your followers?
If the first litter didn't hit, try again, go to something better, keep elevating. Don't take the same steps. Definitely don't take steps backwards. And don't be scared to drop a bag on something nice, because at the end of the day, that thing's gonna come back tenfold.
Facts. And what about the haters, bro? Because I know you have them.
Man,
I know you have them. We
what
all
message
have
you got
them.
for the weenies?
Man, I keep them blocked out, man. I don't.
You don't
If
got no
anybody
message
hating on
for
me,
'em.
I don't even know about them. Like, shoot, you want to hate on me? You're irrelevant to me. All I want to see is the people who are supportive, the people who are like showing love. Like, cause that's all I want to do. I don't never hate on nobody. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that person's producing bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, there'll never be anything in this game. I'll straight up go to them and be like, hey, you know, you could be doing this. This might be better. They could hate it. They could hate me for it, or they could take the advice and go in the right direction, a little bit more in the right direction. You know, because I'm not gonna say I've been doing this forever and I know everything. You know what I mean? Or I know how to produce dope dogs. That's one thing I pride myself on, is I want to produce dope dogs, and I'm not gonna sell somebody a dog that's just like, I'm gonna be like, oh, this dog is gonna make you $20,000 on the first litter. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like a female that I didn't produce or a female that I didn't put my best dogs together. I'm gonna be like, all right, you can take this dog, breed it to something better, and it's a good foundation, a good starting point. But like, at the end of the day, like, if you selling dreams, if you're selling people dogs that are like, oh, buy this stud, he's gonna make you $10,000 in the first 2 months that he's open. Like, nah, man. Like, you gotta put in work. Like, that's the first thing I'll tell somebody. You gotta put in work to see the results. Like, you can't just buy the thing, sit back, never promote it, never do anything, and expect people to, oh, I want to use that dog because I've only seen him once in the last 6 months, but I want to use that dog. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen. That's why it goes back to when I said, if you're not putting the product in somebody's face, then they're not going to know about you. They're not going to see you. You keep posting every day, keep showing them off. If you don't got any lock-ins, who's to say that somebody's not going to lock in 3 months? You know what I mean?
Facts. Well, shit, we appreciate your time today, man. Thank you for coming on the show, man. We had a great interview. Would you like to close with anything?
I mean, all I can say is keep going, and each year, produce something better. Don't just take the same steps.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, man. And for you guys that don't know, I know Terrence from way back when, man. So I just want to give you your flowers, bro. You know what I mean? Because you've been putting in work, and to see you just within the last 2 years, just keep going, bro. You know what I mean? Because you're really, really, you have your foot on their necks, bro. To say the least, man. So keep fucking going, bro.
Appreciate it.
Bro.
One of the most humblest dudes I know, man. Because I came up pretty fast, and there's a lot of people that I can say when we were first talking, cool. And he's probably one of the only ones that I could count on one hand that remained the same, bro. From the very, very beginning to even right now. You know what I mean? So just keep doing you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.